Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. Jimmy Kimmel seems quite fed up with anti-maskers. Jimmy said maybe they should have a separate airline for people who won't wear a mask, JetFlu. Colbert, the CEO of the airline Delta, has revealed he's still refusing to call it the Delta variant. That's important. I can totally understand that because being associated with a communicable disease is not great for business. That's why stores no longer carry the tasty syphilis jam. You remember their motto, nothing spreads like syphilis. I love it. Fallon, a 4-year-old girl named Scarlett just climbed her 48th mountain peak. That's great, but she doesn't have Instagram, so did it really happen? Seth Meyers took on climate change, saying, it's undeniable as it's been for a long time. Climate change is intensifying. Most of the western U.S. has been on fire this summer. Wildfire has drifted all across the country and made the air toxic on the East Coast. And New York City just had to declare its first ever flash flood emergency. It's getting so bad that Pizza Rat has taken up water ballet. Myers also talked about the Texas abortion law. That's right, they did it in the dead of night, in a little more than a page, in the same way a rich kid half-asses a freshman English paper because he knows he can't fail out. Colbert said there's a new coronavirus variant in town, and it's called Mu. It is named after the 12th letter of the Greek alphabet, and not as I thought for the Pokemon Mu. Either way, you got to get vaccinated or you'll catch them all. In the PR world, that's what we call buzz. A variant of interest is less dire than a variant of concern, which is how Delta is categorized. The rating system goes variant of interest, variant of concern, variant of pans crapping, sometimes called code brown, and finally, variant of, is there any more room on Jeff Bezos' penis rocket to escape the planet? As an aside, I saw some Sam B monologue jokes, and I didn't do them, and I don't want to just sit here and rip Sam B, but they weren't, good at all. I don't know what's going on there. Trevor Noah is back, baby. He's got a new Times Square studio housed in the Midtown headquarters of Comedy Central's corporate owner, Viacom CBS. Comedy Central has consolidated their late-night efforts. Remember, there used to be The Daily Show and The Colbert Report, and it was at midnight, and then Larry Wilmore had a show, and Jordan Klepper had a show, and David Spade had a show. They've given up on all that. Now it's a 1-hour extended daily show broadcast with Trevor Noah, and part of the logic might be there that Viacom and CBS have remerged, so why keep launching 11:30 programs on Comedy Central when there are two big-budget late-night shows on CBS that need to capture viewers? Variety points out that the shows are seeing new competition from people like Gutfeld. Gutfeld does skew older than the people who watch Trevor Noah, Jimmy Kimmel, and the rest, but Gutfeld has drawn bigger crowds than many of the late-night shows in recent weeks. Let's hit Comedy Gossip Corner. Chelsea Handler has a new man in her life, but the man isn't all that new. Recently, at a Los Angeles Dodgers game, Joe Koy was seen making out with a blonde, the blonde believed to be 46-year-old Chelsea Handler. A witness said Joe Koy at Dodger game in L.A. saw Chelsea Handler on the big screen and obviously Googled the two of them, then saw him kiss a blonde next to him. She's masked, so it was hard to tell if it was her. We found out if it was her, and it was because Joe Koy on his Instagram story confirmed that it's Chelsea Handler. TMZ also quizzed him about this. Joe Koy says he and Chelsea are just great friends. A few days after the Dodgers game, Chelsea had a Q&A on Instagram and was asked if she regrets never getting married or having kids. Chelsea answered, she's never felt more confident and secure in my life decision-making skills in remaining childless and alone than I have during this pandemic. Congratulations to Dave Chappelle. He won the Guest Comedy Actor Emmy for hosting Saturday Night Live. It's one of 4 Emmys Dave Chappelle was nominated for this year. The other 3 were for his Netflix stand-up comedy special 846. He lost the Variety Special Directing and Variety Special Writing Awards to Bo Burnham, but we'll find out the results of the Variety Special pre-recorded. That'll be given out this Sunday on the Emmys. There was pre-Emmys that they did over the weekend. I don't really understand it. It's like the Emmys we don't care about and shouldn't be on TV, but they did them a week earlier. I don't know. But yes, Bo Burnham did win his first Emmy. The actor, musical comic, and filmmaker was nominated for 6 awards for his groundbreaking one-man pandemic special, Bo Burnham Inside. Those nominations include Variety Special, pre-recorded, directing for Variety Special, writing for Variety Special, picture editing for Variety Programming, music direction, and original music and lyrics. He won the music direction category for his musical comedy special. On June 9th, Bo Burnham released the music from the special on an album titled Inside the Songs, which hit number 1 on Billboard's Comedy Albums chart and eventually climbed to number 7 on the Top 200. Today's Daily Comedy News is brought to you by All Pro Lines. Did you watch the football over the weekend? Oh my goodness, I had just the best Sunday. I sat out on the deck and I watched Red Zone and I had a beverage and I had some leftover Mexican food. It was glorious. I'm a Niners fan. They were up big, then they almost blew it, but they won. I hate the Jets and the Jets lost, so it was perfect. Well, I like football. I like comedy. Here's a question for you. Do you like football? Do you like comedy? Yes and yes. Well, then you'll love All Pro Lines. It's a podcast. Longtime stand-up comedian Kostaki Economopoulos and co-host Aaron Hodges cover all the water cooler moments from the weekend that was in the NFL, reactions, debate, jokes, trash talk, and comedian guests. All Pro Lines, wherever you get your podcast. The writing on that show is on point. I highly recommend All Pro Lines, part of my Tuesday listening routine. John Mulaney moves the numbers, and I like downloads, so let's see what People magazine said. Pregnant Olivia Munn runs errands with John Mulaney in New York City after he reveals they are expecting. That's right, pregnant Olivia Munn and boyfriend John Mulaney stepped out on Friday afternoon, just days after Mulaney revealed blah, blah, blah. Olivia Munn wore head-to-talk black with chunky open-toe kitten heels, draping her baby bump with an ankle-length beige duster jacket. John Mulaney, 41 years of age, sported a navy blue hooded jacket with a matching baseball cap, jeans, and white Nikes, and he carried their bags to the car. A source told People they were both extremely excited about the baby. They couldn't be happier. Olivia Munn has said, the outpouring of love and support has been really amazing. There's a very real mom tribe that comes up. I've heard about it, but they've really come up in full force, and there's a really great dad tribe, too. Everybody comes up and just really is so supportive and loving. It has really meant so much to me. From Looper, AP Bio is back. Glenn Howerton, you know him from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He plays Jack Griffin, a disgraced Harvard philosophy professor turned reluctant biology teacher under the tutelage of Whitlock High School's goofy yet lovable principal Durbin, played by Patton Oswalt. You know, you would think a sitcom with Patton Oswalt, Glenn Howerton, this should be in my wheelhouse. I sort of watched it when it was on NBC, but now that it's on Peacock, it's just invisible to me. I guess I like it. Looper says after 3 seasons, AP Bio is still serving heavy doses of the chaotic comedy fans have come to love. Now the series is gearing up to launch a new round of Jack's petty revenge schemes and his unlikely friendship with Durbin, as well as the kids in his class. Patton Oswalt said, they let us ad-lib a lot of stuff. There's a lot of my scenes that they'll go, let's just do multiple fun takes, see what happens. I think the same thing happens with Glenn, especially with the students. I know that it let you do multiple reaction to things. I've seen some of it. It's amazing. Glenn Howerton said, no, Mike is great about that. I think he recognizes the fact that if you got a certain comedic instinct, look, he has full control in the edit to put in whatever he wants. So it's why not let us kind of go out on a rail? I'll usually do at least one take where I go completely off the rails just in case there's something in there that ends up being comedy gold. By the way, if you want to see what I'm like on the weekend, go to YouTube and type in It's Always Sunny suburbs, and you'll find Dennis from It's Always Sunny driving a car in the suburbs with road rage. That's me. That's 100% me. No exaggeration. I even caught myself one day calling someone a fat cow, which happens in that video. I tend to lose my mind. As calm as I might seem here on the podcast, I lose my mind sometimes in the car. Hey, Glenn Howerton, might we see any of your AP Bio co-stars in any future episodes of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia? Glenn said, look at Patton. We're actually in the middle of shooting season 15 now. No plans to cast anyone from AP Bio yet. I'm so sorry, Patton. I'm sorry. Did you want to be on the show? Did you want to do it? Patton Oswalt said, I would ever so like to act with you Philadelphia fellows. Glenn said, I think it'd be super fun to have them on there. I always get super paranoid about stuff like that. I'm like, is that weird? I guess audiences probably would love stuff like that, but I always get paranoid about it. Patton said, look, by the way, I would be super hesitant only because It's Always Sunny is such a level of comedy in that show. The bar is so high. I never want to be on a show that good and then be a weak spot. So I'd be very cautious because it's an absolute brilliant show. From Vulture, Vulture writes, for years, Vulture has been your go-to online destination for all things comedy. Let me echo that. Vulture is terrific. It is one of the few websites for which I actually pay. I have a subscription. Vulture is great. If you don't read Vulture every day, read Vulture. They're really great. Vulture asked themselves, what if we had a live comedy show? And with no one around to tell them no during the pandemic, they reached out to the fine folks at Union Hall, got to work. Starting today, Vulture and Union Hall are partnering to bring some of their favorite comedians to the stage every Tuesday at 7 p.m. This is in New York City. It's a showcase of the comedy Vulture particularly loves, hosted by Marsha Belsky, Jay Jordan, and Zach Zimmerman. Vulture says there will probably be some surprise guests, so it will indeed be pretty major. Get it? That's the name of the show and also what it is. Scheduled tonight, Please Don't Destroy, Taylor Guerin, Kylie Brakeman, Sydney Washington, Francesca Duva, and more. A week from today, Jay McBride, Larry Owens, Jess Tom, Devon Walker, and more. Should be a good show. By the way, I have been looking all day to see anything about that Sunday night 9/11 concert Jon Stewart, Pete Davidson, and people were at. I have not seen a single thing on the internet as I record this at 1:46 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on September 13th, which was Monday. As soon as I see something, I will share it with you. Coming up this weekend from gwhatchet.com, it's the third annual DC Comedy Festival. The event will take place at several locations throughout the District of Columbia. It'll feature open mics, dinners, and headliners. It goes on from right now until Saturday. 50 comedians held at venues including DuPont Underground and Busboys and Poets. 3 comedians from the DC metro area came up with the idea for the festival as a way to showcase comics of all levels. The event is aimed to engage the public with the comedy community and provide an educational workshop for comedians to network with each other. DC's comedy scene includes groups like Underground Comedy and DuPont Circle, Capital Laughs, and DC Improv. Dan Caper was scheduled to perform last night. He said, "My stand-up is mostly a combination of absurdist humor and stuff about dealing with anxiety. I do a lot of one-liners. I've been told that I seem nervous on stage, which is such a compliment." Tony Woods, a comedian known for his role as a mentor to Dave Chappelle, will headline the festival's finale show on Saturday night. Tickets, $10 to $25. You got to show proof of vaccination or a COVID-19 negative test. Masks must be worn at all times. That means Jim Breuer will not be performing at the DC Comedy Festival. And that is your comedy news for today. Follow this show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your shows. Hey, if you like what I do, buy me a coffee. You go to buymeacoffee.com/daily comedy news and you throw $5 in the tip jar. I go to the National Donuts chain. This morning I went totally different. I got Guatemalan hot coffee. Wasn't feeling so well this morning. And I'm like, I need a little hot coffee to just burn out whatever's going on. No, I don't have COVID. I'm fine. See you tomorrow.